Toronto's housing market is sending mixed signals again. Sales are up, but not for the reason you think. Prices are falling, inventory is piling up, and buyers suddenly have way more power than they did just a few months ago. Let's start with the price story here. Detached homes in the city of Toronto, the 416, are down over 10% year over year. That's the biggest drop in the core and the biggest drop for freehold housing product. And the only type of product that fell even harder was condos in the 905 on 10.6%. That's not just a correction. These are some of the steepest drops on a year over year basis that we've seen this cycle. Now, one thing that you'll notice is sales are up year over year. And the real estate boards and a lot of the more bullish publications are going to tell you that sales are up. But here's the catch. Sales are only up because prices are falling. More people are willing to transact when prices come down, but that doesn't mean the market is healthy or recovering. It means the market is adjusting. If we go back to last month, sales growth actually briefly outpaced new listings growth, which suggested that maybe demand was catching up to supply. But in August, that flipped back. New listings are now up 9.4%, while sales are only up 2.3%. This means that supply is outpacing demand again, and we're trending further into buyer's market territory. Active listings are up a massive 22.4% compared to August of last year, which means inventory continues to pile up, especially if new supply is outpacing new demand. This gives buyers more options. And when buyers have more options, sellers really only have one way to stay competitive, and that is to cut their prices. Average price is down almost across every single category, with one exception. 416 townhouses, they're actually up about 1%. This is interesting and in a very fringe way. As I'm sure you've known, I am very involved in the multiplex space, and there are quite a few multiplex developers who are developing multiplexes that are formatted very similar to townhouses, although the municipality seems to be cracking down on that formatting, pushing for more of a stacked unit layout. But if your detached lots in the 416 are down 10%, while townhouse style multiplexes, like 4 to 6 units on one lot, are holding their value or even rising, builders or investors might be able to make a business case here if that spread continues to make the math for land assembly or redevelopment into townhouses more attractive. And frankly, I accept that this is really me just trying to find the silver lining in the market, because I'm not saying that's a good investment, but it's probably the only potential trade available in the market right now that I can see based on this data. The last point, that homes are sitting on the market longer. The average days on market jumped up from 11 to 13%. That might not sound like a lot, but when you think about the fact that homes were already taking 44 days on average to sell, and listings were taking 29 days, and we've now pushed that above the 30-day mark to 33 days on average. This means that if you're going to list a property, you're going to list it more than once, and it's going to sit on the market for at least a month, if not 2 months on average. Properties are taking longer to sell, which is another clear sign of softening demand and sellers needing to set realistic expectations, because frankly, if properties are priced really well, they're still moving very quickly in this market. Could be just as much a reflection that sellers aren't willing to price discover downwards or come down to the buyer's bid to meet the market where it is, rather than buyers taking their time to shop around. It's probably an indication of both, but we can't just make this a demand side story. So to sum it up, 416 detached and 905 condos are leading the correction in Toronto's housing market based on August data. And this is pretty volatile data, and I'm always reluctant to use summer data points. Just like December, summer can be weird from a transactional perspective. And so I do really think that once we get into our more strong fall market, where you do typically tend to see more transactions taking place, we'll have a clearer picture of what's actually happening in the Toronto real estate market. One thing that I will add here is that this is actually the second largest jump that we've seen in listings on a year over year basis, rivaled only by the month of May, where listings were actually up 41%. We're now up about 26%. But the interesting point to look at here is the darker blue line. From August of 2024 to September of 2024, we saw listings grow by 5%. And if we saw a comparable jump in active listings in 2025, we would actually set a new supply record. You see this 5% jump here from August to September. If we had a comparable 5.5% jump, I drew a line straight across, and you can see it's well above our previous peak of listings, which if I go back as far as I can on my data set here, you can see that previous peak was actually the highest number of listings we've ever had on the Toronto Real Estate Board. So my prediction that I'm going to make here is that we're going to see that 5% increase heading into the fall of this year, and that we're going to see a new record inventory of resale homes for sale on the Toronto Real Estate Board in September of 2025. But sales are only up because prices are down. Supply is growing faster than demand. Inventory is climbing and homes are sitting longer. All signs point us to a market that is heading deeper and deeper into a buyer's market. So let me know what you think in the comments. Are we finally seeing the balance of power shifting towards buyers in the market? Or do you think this is just a seasonal slowdown based on summer data points? Do you think prices will keep falling? And if so, how much are they going to keep falling? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you want to be able to read and download the charts that I've covered in this, subscribe to my Substack. There's a link in the description below. Thanks a lot for taking the time to watch this. I really appreciate you taking the time out of your day. And I'll be back as soon as I can with some more information about the Canadian real estate market.